Hello, today we're going to talk about the 30-yard shot, or as I like to call this segment, the secrets of the 30-yard shot. Now when we're talking about a 30-yard shot, I'm talking about from where your ball is to where the flag is, there's 30 yards. Now, within these three things we're going to learn, first thing is the options that we have for each one of those shots, which one is the safest choice, and obviously how to save strokes with this knowledge. Okay, so now let's start by saying within this 30-yard shot, which the way most people do it is they grab their loft wedge and they try to do the Phil Mickelson shot. Okay, it's a beautiful shot, you know, but it's actually the hardest shot in golf because you depend a lot on the backspin. There's the margin of error is just very, very, very small. I mean, if you hit it fat, your ball's going to move 5 feet. If you hit it thin, your ball's going to move 100 yards. So it is the hardest shot in golf to control. Now, most people like to play that shot like Phil Mickelson does, or like the pros do, but the pros play that shot when they absolutely have to play that shot. Now, let me explore the different options, and obviously the options change based on what's between your ball and the hole. And so I want to do different scenarios, and then I'll show you which one is the safest one and then how to play, okay? So first of all, the only way you would play a 30-yard shot as a flop shot is that if you had a bunker, okay? So you had to fly flop it and make sure that it stops. Now it's a very low percentage shot and you really don't want to play it, and then I'm going to show you why. But that's the first scenario. Now the next scenario, let's just imagine that the green starts here. So you have 10 yards this way and then 20 yards that way. Okay, so then you would have a lot of different options as far as what you can do on this shot. Okay, now most amateurs would play this shot, even though they have these options, they would still play that flop shot. I don't know if that's you, but most people are. So don't worry about it. Now, the next shot would be to hit a pitching wedge or a sand wedge or a loft wedge and just let the ball hit here and just pitch it to the flag. Now, the reason why this shot is a lot safer than this shot is because if you hit it hard, let's say that this is where you want to land your ball. So you pick up a target and you say, okay, I want to land it here, right? And then it's going to fly 15 yards and then it's going to run 15 yards, right? Now, what happens with this shot is that if you hit it harder and you miss your spot, okay, usually the ball goes actually higher, right? And it creates more backspin, so if it flies a little bit more, it's gonna stop with the excess backspin that you gave. Now, let's say that you miss your shot the other way. Let's say that you miss it short. So you hit it and you miss it short, right? Well, what happens is that since it's in a lower trajectory, has less backspin, it's gonna run and add it up. So whenever you have the opportunity to just pitch it, just do that. Now, this is just in a flat green. Obviously, if the green goes up, it changes. If the green goes down, it changes. But what I'm saying is that when you play this shot, your margin of error is greater than that shot. If you miss this one fat, you're going to land probably here. If you miss this one thin, you're going to land way up over there. So, but if you miss this with the same amount, you miss both shots as much, okay? So with your loft wedge in a flop, your distance is just huge. Now if you use your pitching wedge, you can just grab it and your margin of error is a lot greater, okay? Now I'm going to move the camera just a little bit more so that we can see this very well. And I'm going to erase this. Well, let's do it like that. So now let's say that your green starts here and you have 5 yards to fly and then 25 yards to run. Okay? This same shot, well, you would probably get a 6 or 7 iron and just land it here, right? And there's two things that are as this one. Your margin of error is great because obviously if you hit it harder, it's going to have more backspin. If you hit it shorter, well, obviously just as long as you hit the green, if you miss it shorter, it's going to have more backspin and be consistent. But your target is a lot closer to you. So in other words, it's a lot easier just to go grab your 6 iron and just hit a little chip with a target that's 5 yards away from you, and then just let it trickle. If you hit it harder, it's going to stop. If you hit it thinner, it's going to release. So your target here is at 5 yards, and in the other one your target is at 15. Okay? Now both margins of error will help you on these two shots, but not on your loft shot. So your margin of error here is smaller, and also your target is farther. You know what I mean? So what you're doing is, the only thing you want to do is hit a little pitch shot, bounce it there, and just let it roll, okay? Because your target is 5 yards from you. Now if your target is 15 yards, that's a lot harder to hit, but sometimes you don't have those options. You have to hit that ball, make sure that it flies at least 10 or 15 yards, hit your spot, and then release to the hole, okay? So whenever you have to do that, you just have to do that. Now in the case of the flop shot, that's when you really have to do it. I mean, if there's no other way that you can get that ball to the flag, you use that flop shot, okay? Now what I want to show you next is how, move this a little bit closer so that you can see kind of like the drawing I had here, okay? So just again, if you think about it this way and you see your targets, so this target is at 5 yards, this target is at 15 yards, and this target is at 30. Okay, keep those numbers in mind because I'm going to erase all these, and now I'm going to go to the last part on how to strategize and how to use this to really save strokes. Because